What's up, everyone? This is the Raw Truth coming at you with a brand new video. And in this video, I want to deal with a person by the name of Kamala Harris. Now, everyone knows that she announces her presidency, and she knows a black woman, even though she looked like she's really mixed and shit. But she's a black woman, and a lot of black women, well, tons of black women is, getting excited over it and shit. And they're looking at her as, oh yeah, we had a black president, Barack Obama. Now we had Barack Obama's a black man, but now we have Kamala Harris. She's a black woman. Oh, this is going to be good. Me, myself, I've always been against Barack Obama. As a matter of fact, the last person that I voted for and I stopped and quit voting was Bill Clinton. That was the last time I voted, because I realized the more I came into this truth, how wicked and how crazy and how satanic all presidents are, including this bitch here. Now, Kamala Harris, she is part of the Lynx sorority, and the Lynx sorority is the female brulee. Now, there's this article that came out of Kamala Harris is terrible on criminal justice. She's terrible on criminal justice. And it's kind of funny because in this article, it's going to prove to y'all that the Raw Truth, once again, is telling the truth. Because the Boule Lynx, which is the female Boule that she's a part of, what is the doctrine that they go by? Again, I have to keep stressing this over and over and over again, because it has to sink in your head. The main doctrine that they follow is one: they bow to the white supremacy system. They bow to them. Boule means advisor to the king, and the king is the man or men who run a organization. And who runs the organization? Who runs America? They sure as hell don't look like me. They look something different than me, and they're called the white supremacist racist system. Number two, they not only bow to them, but they have to make themselves appear to be for us. Meanwhile, they are in secret meetings giving messages and advice to the white supremacy system to oppress us. Now, there's this article, again, it's called Kamala Harris is Terrible on Criminal Justice. This article was written by Catherine Timpf, and I will leave a link to the in the description box so you can see and view the article as well. And this was written January 22nd, 2019 at 6:30 a.m. Damn, 6:30 a.m. Journalists, sometimes they don't sleep when the story is juicy. So let's read this article. Let's start off with this article. It says, her record as a prosecutor isn't as progressive as she'd have you believe. Democratic Senator Kamala Harris has announced that she is throwing her hat in the ring to run for president in 2020. So now is a good of a time as any to remind anyone of her terrible record on criminal justice. Thankfully, criminal justice reform has become a hit. A bit of a popular issue these days amongst both Democrats and Republicans. Remember, I told y'all folks, Democrats and Republicans are the same party. It's the WWE. We have Goldberg on one side, and we have The Rock on the other side, and they're talking shit on one another. Yeah, but at the end of the day, at the end of the match, whoever wins, whether it's Goldberg, Spear, and Jackhammer, or The Rock, rock bottom, people's elbows, 1, 2, 3, ding, ding, ding. At the end of the match and at the end of the entertainment industry, they out there having a drink or probably, you know, doing things that's unsightful and wicked to one another. Who knows? I wouldn't put it past them. Then it says, this has allowed for some steps in the right direction towards fixing our unnecessary punitive justice system, such as the passage of the First Step Act. As a civil libertarian, it's my opinion that we still have a long way to go, and putting Kamala Harris in the White House would not be a step in the right direction. But you know, I just want to stop there for a second. Our criminal justice system has never been fucking right. You know, sometimes when you read articles, you got to really separate the meat from the bones, because there's a lot of bones in the articles. Our criminal justice has never, ever been right. As a matter of fact, if you go back to law enforcement itself, it was set up when the Irish people were complaining about the hard labor because they chose to be indentured servants. And indentured servants is different from being a fucking slave. See, our people were fucking slaves. The Irish people and the white people came over, became indentured servants because it was so hard and they didn't want to be indentured servants anymore. They went and cried to their white man, and the white man gave them jobs, and their job was to hunt down runaway slaves. That's how the police force started, to hunt down runaway slaves. So the Irish people left the indentured servants and became police officers to chase down slaves who didn't want to endure the hard work that the Irish people say it was hard. But isn't that something? We were a lot stronger back then. So you have to understand that. Now I'm going to go here and read some more. It says, although Harris seems to have a pretty good reputation among most liberals, her record on criminal justice issues is a dismal one. Understand, she had the people really that she was impressing was not the people who look like us. Well, when I mean look like us, I'm not talking about us ordinary black folks. I'm talking about the black people in the white supremacist system who are part of the Brotherhood. Those are the ones that was most oppressive to her, because they all have the same, go by the same doctrine, you know. And it says, as a recent piece from the Laura Bazelon in the New York Times details, Harris was far from a progressive prosecutor, that she has tried to rebrand herself as in recent days. So, you know, she came out speaking good shit. And I bet you a whole lot of you motherfuckers ate it up too. I bet you all, a lot of, I'm saying the vast majority of motherfuckers ate that shit up. She spoke about good things. That's one thing. When somebody has deceit in their heart, they have to speak good things, but behind closed doors, they do what? Plan your fucking demise. Seemed like a message in one of the doctrines of the Boule. So a lot of liberals, the Brotherhood, Sisterhood, and the Freemasons and them, you know, they were impressed by her work, but people who are not part of that, who see through that shit, is calling her ass on the fucking carpet. It said, for an example, when Harris was San Francisco's district attorney in 2010, she was condemned by a judge for staying silent about a police laboratory technician who had been accused of stealing drugs and intentionally sabotaging her work. Of course she has to stay silent, because the one that probably sabotaged her fucking work was probably someone who was a Satanist who was ranked over her. Now understand this. She's being quiet about somebody sabotaging her work and shit. That means what? When you're in silence, it means that you agree with the sabotaging. What else is the sabotaging of a person's work? Now, say for instance, black men, black women, mainly black men, if there's evidence that tells everybody that we didn't do something, and that person came and sabotaged it as if we did, she's going to stay silent on that, because whether we like it or not, lawyers, attorneys, attorney general, whoever the fuck they are, they have to have bodies in prison. That's where you get all the plea deals are coming from and shit like that. And this motherfucker right here stole drugs. So she stays silent against criminal behaviors. But wait a minute, she's talking good about she's for reform criminals and shit. But her whole fucking office is destroyed. This is some bullshit. And it said she should have warned defense lawyers about this technician's wrongdoings, but she chose not to. Understand something. Remember what I said. So instead of her going to the defense attorney and saying, look, this person, because see, this person who did this shit, who was on drugs, is not fit to even be investigating anything because it's tainted. We sit up there and tell folks you can't come to work high. Why can't you come to work high? Because if you come to work high, you can't fucking focus on anything. You can't focus. Your focus is so fucking gone that you want to fucking something up that could be the end of your career or the end of somebody else's career. Death may come. So she stays silent, knowing that what he did or that person did was very, very wrong, that could have helped the defense, and she stayed quiet. Understand something. If she's president, she's going to stay quiet on a whole lot of shit. And that's what all presidents do. It's not just her. It's all kind of presidents do. Then it says, and even went so far as to contest the condemnations, claiming that the judge had done so only out of bias because her husband was a defense attorney. And I'll get into her husband. Her husband is Douglas Emhoff, and he is a white man, a so-called Jew. Harris eventually lost this argument, and more than 600 cases that have been handled by the technician were tossed out. Ooh, more than 600 cases was tossed the fuck out. And I want you to understand something too. What if some of those cases was absolutely legit? That means two things. We have a bunch of innocent people in prison under this bitch too as well, because she worked for white supremacist system. And we also had criminals who has been freed because these cases was tossed the fuck out. This is some wicked shit. This is who Kamala Harris is. Then it says, as Bazelon notes, Harris' mishandling of the technician was far from the only time she failed to be a hero for the accused. In 2004, she refused to take a position of Proposition 47. Proposition 47. And for y'all to know, Proposition 47 is, it says a lot of shit, you know, with it. And I was debating whether to, how can I say this? Whether to read Proposition 47 in its entirety. But I said to myself, I'm going to go and read some of the Proposition 47 to help you understand what she is, why she refused it, why she didn't want to speak up for Proposition 47. But I'm going to come back to part 2 and explain this shit to help y'all understand what she really refused. Because when we mention Proposition 47, a lot of people don't know it. So I pulled it up and I'm coming back with part 2.